Hi friends, welcome back to another virtual art lesson with Ms. Whitney. I can't believe that this is already virtual lesson number 18 for the school year. We didn't have school on Monday of this week. Does anyone know what special person we were honoring? If you said Martin Luther King Jr., you are correct. Martin Luther King Jr. was a civil rights leader born in Atlanta, Georgia in the year 1929. When he was growing up, life was extremely hard for African Americans. Black people had different schools, toilets, and even sections of the bus to white people. They were also denied the right to vote in elections. He experienced racial prejudice from the time he was very young, which inspired him to dedicate his life to achieving equality and justice for Americans of all colors. In 1963, Martin gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech at a famous rally named March on Washington. Over 250,000 people gathered in the country's capital to hear Martin and other activists speak about the importance of civil rights. It has become one of the most famous speeches in history and focuses on Martin's dream of a society where Black people and white people live together in harmony. Although Martin Luther King Jr. helped to make life better for people of color, we are still dealing with these issues in the USA, even in the year 2021. In honor of Martin Luther King Jr., I have decided to have this week's art theme be all about peace. Peace is a time without any fights or wars. There is a lot of anger in the world right now, and it's important for us all to work together to make the world a happy and safe place for everyone. As you get older, you will have the opportunity to make change in the world. It's time for Miss Whitney's Mask of the Week. This is my Mask of the Week. What do you see on this mask? I painted my Mask of the Week like a famous peace painting by one of the most famous artists ever. You might even recognize his name. The famous artist that I painted my Mask of the Week to look like is Pablo Picasso. I say, you say. Pablo. Picasso. Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso was born on October 25th, 1881 in the country Spain.
Let's go to Spain. Ra!
Picasso likes to draw and paint, draw and paint.
Now you try it.
Picasso likes to draw and paint.
Isn't it easy?
It's siesta time.
Whoa, wake up, friends.
Flamenco dancers turn around, step, step, clap. Flamenco dancers turn around.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hooray!
He is considered one of the greatest artists ever. Picasso could draw and paint when he was very young. His dad was a painter and was his teacher. However, by the time Picasso was 13 years old, his dad decided to give up painting for good because he thought that Picasso was much better than he was. He is best known as the co-founder of Cubism. I say, you say. Cubism. Cubism is when artists take objects and reassemble them in abstract and geometric form. They look like they are full of tiny cubes. Let's take a look at some of Picasso's artwork. What do you see in this painting? What emotion or feeling does this painting make you feel? This painting makes me feel sadness. It's called The Old Guitarist, created by Picasso between the years 1903 and 1904. It shows an old man slumped over his brown guitar on the streets. This painting is from Picasso's blue period, when he only created paintings using different shades of the color blue. Let's look at another painting by Picasso. What do you see in this painting? Does it look realistic? This painting is called The Weeping Woman. Weeping means crying. In this painting, we see a woman that is sad and crying. We can see it's a woman crying, but does it look like a realistic woman? Goodness, no. Picasso's Cubist style of painting does not look realistic. Sometimes he painted body parts in different places, and his artwork is made up of shapes, not actually what the object really looks like. The colors he chose also aren't realistic. Let's look at one more famous artwork by the famous artist Pablo Picasso. What do you see? This is called Dove of Peace, that was chosen as the symbol for the first International Peace Conference in Paris in the year 1949. Picasso made a lot of anti-war paintings and paintings that showed sadness about war. So he was chosen to design an image to represent peace. It had started as a realistic picture of a pigeon, which had been given to him by the great artist and his friend and rival, the famous artist Henri Matisse. We learned about Matisse and his drawing with scissors earlier this year. Picasso turned Matisse's pigeon into a line drawing of a dove that is one of the world's most recognizable symbols of peace. He was very interested in making peace in the world, and he helped make a dove a symbol of peace. He even named his fourth child Paloma, which is the Spanish word for dove. And that's what I painted my mask of the week to look like. Pablo Picasso's Dove of Peace, the international symbol of peace. Let's listen to our welcome song and create our own artwork inspired by Pablo Picasso and peace.
Hello, hello to all my friends. Here we are in art again. It's great to see you, everyone. Countrywood artist, Miss Whitney. We're going to make some art and have some fun. Round of applause.
Okay, friends, so we learned about the famous artist Pablo Picasso and how he helped to create the international symbol of peace with his Dove of Peace line drawing. We are going to create our own Dove of Peace masterpiece inspired by the great artist Picasso. For this lesson, you will need a background paper, something to draw and color with, and a cutout of a dove. You can either draw your own dove, or you can print out the dove template I have added to this lesson. Let's get started. First, let's create our background. Make a dot in the middle of your paper with a pencil. You are going to draw straight lines from your dot to the edge of the paper all around. Using a ruler or maybe the side of a folder will help your lines to be nice and straight. Draw lines from the dot to all four corners of the paper. Now, draw lines that go from the dot to the top of the paper, to the bottom, and the two sides. If you'd like to trace those lines with a marker or crayon to make them stand out like mine, you can. Do you see the new shapes that are made on your paper between each line that you drew? You are going to add designs in each new shape that you created. Think of designs that make you feel happy or peaceful. Maybe you can add a heart design or a flower design. Make a different design in each triangle shape. If you'd like to trace these designs, you can. You can also add color to this designed background with crayons, colored pencils, markers, or paint, whatever you have at home. Now let's add our Dove of Peace to the middle of our background to complete our masterpiece. Either draw your own dove or print out the template that I have added to this lesson. Then glue down your dove right on top of the dot that you made in the middle of your paper. Try to keep this dove white so it pops out of the paper. And you're done! You created your own Dove of Peace inspired by the famous artist Pablo Picasso. Remember to send me your artwork on Google Classroom. I can't wait to add all of your peaceful designs to my virtual gallery. I'll see you next week for a new art lesson. Bye, friends!